I'm Chris Sanchez, and this is Sonoma Views, where we talk real estate, property management, restaurant reviews, what's going on in Sonoma County, and everything in between. Today's topic is regarding real estate sales, and specifically when selling a property that is a rental and you currently have tenants living in the property. So it's a bit challenging. Well, it's different than selling a vacant property. Okay. There are a number of challenges that go along with it, and I just want to explain to you some of the things that I do in order to make the process smoother. So first and foremost, it's if you're selling a property where you have tenants in there, you have to make the decision. One, are you going to sell the property with the tenants in there, or are you going to get the tenants out, give them a 30 or 60 day notice to move out, and then sell it vacant? So that comes down to your timing, the season, the season of the year, market conditions, etc. Now, if the tenants are currently under a lease, under a fixed term lease, then you cannot get them out. The lease goes with the property. So a buyer, potential buyer for the property, let's say, as an example, you have tenants under a 1-year lease and you're in June and you're right in the middle of the lease. They still have 6 months to go. Well, that lease guarantees the tenant housing and the terms of the lease. The rent amount is locked in all the terms. So the tenants have guaranteed housing, their protection, even if the property sells. So that needs to be very clear to the potential buyers that if they take over this place, it's subject to tenant rights. That means they purchase the home subject to that existing lease. So that transfers over to the new buyer. That new buyer then becomes the new owner, landlord, and is turnkey. Now he or she is the landlord, and the tenants still get to stay in there, and then the tenants now have to pay rent to the new owner. Then the new owner can decide, whether they want to keep the tenants in there on a month-to-month, renew the lease, or have the tenants move out. But you cannot get the tenants out while they were currently under a lease. Now, if you're in month number 10 from that lease, and it's a 12-month lease, and you have 2 months left to go, then the current seller, the current owner of the property, could give the tenants a 60-day notice, non-renewal. We're not renewing your lease. You have to be out. At the end of your lease, you have to be out, and then could potentially put the market on towards the tail end of that lease. And so you're running two things overlapping. You're running a real estate sale transaction, and you're running the landlord-tenant relationship. So they overlap. Now there's pros and cons to doing that. It's just, again, depending on the objectives and market conditions and the season of the year. If you're in November, December, probably not the best time. It's rainy. It gets dark at 5 o'clock. The properties do not show the best during winter. It's rainy. It's hard to show. Some owners don't like people coming in when it's raining and muddy, tracking in mud into the property. So it's just season when, like now, we're in, today's April 1st, as a matter of fact. We are now in spring. The sun is out. We have less rain and days are longer. It's moving season. It's springtime, so the beauty is here. So you have to make a decision on what you're going to do. If you decide to sell the property while the tenants are in there, it is not a bad idea, because the trade-off is you can have the property on the market while you are receiving rental income. So there's a trade-off. Some people cannot afford or are not willing to sit on a property being vacant while it's on the market. Okay? And it's a money reason. It's a money decision. I understand it. So that means, okay, wait till the property's vacant, get it cleaned up, maybe do some new paint, new carpet, maybe pay for staging, get the place ready for the market. Meanwhile, you don't have tenants anymore. So no rental coming in. You're covering the mortgage, possibly HOA dues, homeowners association dues, real estate taxes, insurance, etc. So that that property is costing you money every month, but you don't have tenants in there. Plus, you're out money for cleanup, maintenance, improvements. So it is more expensive in a sense to sell the property while it's vacant versus having a tenant in there. So I understand that part. On the other hand, I prefer way more. My preference is to sell the property while it's vacant. I get to put on a lockbox for the real estate agents. It's vacant. They can show it at any time. Get it done. It's easier to show, meaning more people can see it. The more people could see it, the more opportunities we have, the more offers we could potentially get, and get that thing in a contract faster. Okay, that is the beauty. You want to do, buyer wants to do inspections while they're in contract? Have at it. It's vacant. They just have to schedule directly with their agent. When we have tenants, I got to take this call. And I'm back. I carry 2 phones, and that's the one-on-one hauling phone. Okay, so I prefer to sell properties that are vacant because it's easier. Now, the other hand, I specialize in investment properties and through the property management business. So when selling a property that has tenants in there, the tricky part is that you have the tenants living in there, and then showing the property is not as easy as if it was vacant. So what I do is to make the process smoother and minimize the inconvenience to the tenant, because I know it's an inconvenience, it sucks, but it has to be done. We first post it's a legal notice that the property is for sale, and that is personally served to the tenants in their hand or posted and mailed. So they're under notice, written notice, legal notice that this property is going to be sold. Once we post that notice, then we are allowed to show that property to prospective purchasers, potential buyers, and the other agents. Once I go live on the market, other agents are able to also schedule times with a 24-hour notice so they can take their potential buyers there, their clients. Again, 24-hour notice. It's just it could be one every day. So what I do, rather than being the listing agent, the agent selling the property, I limit the hours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Because I've been in that position before. I was renting a house that went up for sale, and it's not fun, but if you put it on a schedule, it makes it a whole lot easier. So 10 a.m. up to 4 p.m. That way it's done during normal business hours. Check your rental agreement, your lease, whatever you have with the tenants. But my lease agreement, which is a template for California, it only allows us to show properties or enter the rental unit during normal business hours. So that means by contract, by that lease, I'm not supposed to be able to do open houses on weekends. Okay, that's a key point. The tenants could either allow it, or they could fight back and say no. Okay, so that's just check your rental agreement regarding landlord entry into the property. If the tenants prefer to do that, okay, have an agreement, and there's benefits to both sides. But if you stick to the contract, the property manager or the agent, and when I'm scheduling showings, because I have a property right now in Windsor that's for sale, as agents call in, they have to schedule with me. I schedule with the tenants. I give them 24-hour notice, and I set it on a schedule from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. That way, tenants know they could wake up, get ready, shoot off to work, and not be there. If they choose to be there, it's fine. They could be there at the property, but they know no surprises. They're not going to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. They're on the toilet. They're in the shower. I don't know, getting ready for the day, and agents and people outside, knocking on the door or trying to get in. No, that's not cool. Also, getting home from work, taking a shower, getting ready for dinner. People have busy lives. No, it's just not cool. So it's a whole lot easier when do a set schedule, and then if they want to allow an open house, I give them the option. If you would like me to do an open house, there's benefit to both sides. One, if I'm able to get in here a Sunday from 12 to 3 or 1 to 4, or maybe even Saturday and Sunday, the first open house going on the market, I could get the most amount of people through that house in and out in a 3-hour period, have the tenants go watch a movie, go to the park, go shopping, take the day out, spend the day, give me 3 hours, come back. And what that does is it minimizes the amount of people who are going to be entering that house during the week while they're potentially there. Some people work from home. Some people have parents living with them. Some people, take care of, grandkids or whatnot. Okay. So it makes it easier. Now, again, I go back to the contract. The agreement does not allow me to do it. So it is totally a choice that I throw out to the tenants. I cannot go into that place during the weekends, but if they would like to minimize the amount of people coming and going, it will help me sell the place quicker, get into contract sooner, and then stop the showings once we're in contract. All right. So those are the pluses and the minuses. It is easier. I prefer to sell vacant properties. It's a whole lot easier. Get the tenants out, get the place cleaned up. It looks cleanest. It is shine. However, there is no rental income while that place is vacant. So if we rent it or if you put it on the market with the tenants in there, no problem. We just have to schedule around the tenants. Hopefully they keep the place clean. The downside is that the buyers coming in are looking at the property with the tenants' furniture in there. The tenants' furniture in there, the way that they have it decorated, and it may be appealing to the buyers. It may not. Who knows? But that's what you have to deal with. I'm Chris Sanchez. This is Sonoma Views. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see future videos, please subscribe. I do appreciate the fact that you're here watching. It means a whole lot to me, and I hope you're getting benefit and value from this. Chris Sanchez.